Hey there, this is Pastor Mike. Welcome to Perkstream for September 9th, where we're inspiring you to follow Jesus because following Jesus is a life worth living. Today on Perkstream, we have a special guest giving us a video devotional. It's going to be Scott Roth. Scott has been on a bit of a journey of his own lately. He has been the interim pastor at Line Lexington Mennonite Church. And just recently, the church sought him out and said, look, can we have you stay and be our lead pastor? And by a 98% vote, Line Lexington has invited him to be their lead pastor, and that starts now. So I talked with Scott today. He's doing pretty well. He says it's quite a ride and adventure of where God has brought him from the time that he left Perk till now. So we're going to hear from him as he talks about adversity and what does it mean to thrive in adversity. He has a short devotional to give us in that regard. Also, I'll just remind us at the end of that video, remind us about the one call system and how we are letting people know about our indoor and outdoor services. And then also a little bit of encouragement and thanking you for the ways that you continue to give and help us thrive as a ministry at Perk Church. So without further ado, here's some information. Call it a devotional, call it a challenge from Scott Roth. Thank you, Scott, for sharing your heart.
It's another week. It's another midweek message. And here we are today talking about adversity. Last week we talked about pivot. And this week, as I was starting to prepare for this, thinking about dying to self from this past sermon on Sunday and looking at transformed living, I ran into some adversity this morning and started to really push me, and it started to ask some questions to me like, Lord, why is it that sometimes the bad stuff happens or difficulties happen at the worst time? Like, it seems that sometimes when adversity hits, it's not really what I wanted. Like, there's other times I could be prepared for a challenge, and this time I definitely wasn't ready for the challenge this morning. Had a broken AC unit going on up at the bike shop. Just frustrating, a lot of bad smells. I had an appointment coming in. It was just one of those moments. And I woke up this morning knowing that I had to go over there and work on it and get through it. And my mind was just like, Lord, be with me. It wasn't a good start of the day. And as I sat to pause and to be with the Lord for a bit, through a daily devotion, I came across Philippians chapter 1. Verse 12 here, and I want to share these verses with you. And 12 to 30, feel free to spend some time reading it. It's really helpful. I find that this section, especially following up from the sermon on Sunday, it's a great one too. But let me read this to you. Now I want you to know, brothers, that in my circumstances have happened instead for the progress of the gospel, so that my imprisonment in Christ has become known in the whole praetorium. The praetorium is the governor's house, Roman rule, the imperial guard. This is this place that's been known through the Roman Empire right now in this space, the locality of the Roman Empire, that is, and to all the rest. There's people around there. And most of the brothers, trusting in the Lord because of my imprisonment, dare even more to speak the word without fear. So Paul gets imprisoned, goes through this adversity, but it is actually pushing him and pushing others around him to spread the gospel and to engage even more. And some, even because of envy and strife, preach Christ, and some also for goodwill. The latter do so from love, knowing that I'm appointed for the defense of the gospel. The former proclaim Christ from selfish ambition and not sincerely, thinking to raise up affliction in my imprisonment. What's the result? Only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is proclaimed. And in this I rejoice. But also I rejoice, for I know that this will turn out to me for deliverance through your prayer and support of the Spirit of Jesus Christ. I'm going to pause right there. There's more verses to go. Feel free to dig into them. It's really neat to just see Paul's reaction to being in prison here. And I question, when we hit adversity, how do we react? And do we ever think about what's happening on the other side? So for instance, this flower here, I find it interesting, this image, as I started to look around for images about adversity, and there's a few pictures of like flowers cropping up through the cracks in the sidewalk, and all these different pictures about adversity and growth. And here is this beautiful imagery here of a fire ravaged forest. And when you look at this fire ravaged forest, you think about in your mind the destruction, the devastation that happened from this forest fire, the pain that it went through as the forest was being ripped to shreds by this fire. And as you can see, it was a very large fire. But then afterwards, the newness that starts to happen, we have these blooms of flowers here. And I wonder sometimes if through our adversity, it creates more fertile ground for us to grow. And I think about what Paul's talking about here, like, hey, I'm in prison, but there's good stuff happening. Even the bad stuff is starting to look good, right? Like, there's people preaching the gospel, and it's not necessarily for good intentions, but it's still being preached. And yeah, it makes me wonder a little bit, how do we react to adversity? And, taking the concept of pivoting from last week, taking a look at, dying to self. And when we start to put these things together, we can start to see that maybe we need to be looking for that picture beyond and asking God for the steps beyond the adversity. And what does it look like for us after the fact? And can we prepare? So, church, during this time of COVID, are we asking those questions of the Lord on where we're supposed to be moving through this adversity? There's a lot of uncertainty. I know kids are starting to go back to school. That's a big stressor. And I know a lot of our families are dealing with this, and our family as well, asking these deeper questions. So this week, look through the adversity of the week. Look beyond it. Maybe it's hard to, but start looking to see where the flowers are blooming. And seek the Lord, seek others around you as you are feeling the adversity. You're not in this alone. And feel free to drop a message. Feel free to drop a line to sroth@llmc.org. And just so thankful that you're taking the time today to hear this. Spend some time in the Word. Look forward to talking to you soon, and I hope you have a blessed week.
Scott, thanks for sharing your heart. Just a couple of reminders. On Saturday morning, we are putting out a one-call alert to everybody to let you know whether we're having an indoor or outdoor service. So we're still working with that system. I hope that you are getting the phone calls. If you are not, please let me know so we can double-check your phone number in our system. If it is an outdoor service, just want to remind you to bring a chair so that you have a place to sit. Particularly one that might be a little more comfortable, because most of the chairs that we'd be able to pull out for people would be hard chairs or folding chairs. So bring your own chair if it's a outdoor worship. Indoor, we'll be sitting in the sanctuary. Just a reminder, the Children's Church will start back up this Sunday, September 13th. And it's going to be on the second and fourth Sundays as the kids look forward to Christmas. There'll be some Christmas preparation going on. Also, there will be a lesson with Lisa Reichley. It's going to be grades 1 through 5. The kids will start with us in church, and then after the musical worship, they will leave to go and spend time with Lisa. So thank you, Lisa Reichley, for doing that. We very much appreciate it. In our ongoing financial picture, we are holding our own. Our expenses are still behind the giving, if you will, or to put it more positively, our giving is ahead of our expenses. So thank you for your generosity. Thanks for continuing to launch our ministry forward. And speaking of launching a ministry forward, in the next couple of weeks, look for very specific information inviting you to join a Circle Up group. The Circle Up group is a way for us to connect with each other outside the Sunday morning window, to have times of worship, prayer, support, growth. And in all of these things, it's our way of engaging with one another to help each other, especially in these very uncertain times where we might actually find ourselves not able to meet again because of the another COVID backwash. So if that is what comes our way, then we will be prepared using the Circle Up groups as our main contact for worship and continued growth and learning. So I'm asking you to be on the lookout. Where would you like to circle up? Do you want to circle up close to your home, or do you want to circle up with some people that you know and that you're connected to already? we want to help you get that process underway. Be looking for the details. Well, God bless you, and I pray that you will have the ability in any adversity to thrive in God's power and in His grace. May you have all you need to have complete confidence in the God who loves and cares for you in every season of your life. God bless you. Take care.